So, what happened there?
Well, today is a disappointing day for Sacramento. The lead investor decided not to move forward, and I cannot speak for him. I can only say it's disappointing, very disappointing for Sacramento. But I also want to say this: I think about the battle over many years to save the Kings in Sacramento, and when you remember back to that period of time, the city went through many periods where it appeared we were going to lose the Kings. We had different potential ownership groups, all kinds of things. And what happened in the end? We won. And now we have a beautiful arena, the Golden One Center downtown. We have only begun to fight for what we deserve in Sacramento, and that is Major League Soccer. And we don't start from scratch. We have an approved stadium plan that's passed all the environmental hurdles. We've got an incredible fan base who I feel most for here tonight. And we have a great relationship with Major League Soccer. In fact, I want to thank them, and I want to thank Commissioner Garber because they've really stuck with us. And Commissioner Garber's statement today was very hopeful to me that no guarantees, but they're going to continue to work with us to try to find another lead investor because that's all that it takes. And so just like the Kings, where we had many ups and downs, but in the end prevailed, Sacramento will prevail. And we will get Major League Soccer because it's what we deserve. And so I don't sugarcoat this. This is going to delay what is rightfully ours, no question about it. We were hoping that in 2022 or 2023, we would be able to kick off a new Major League Soccer season, a new Major League Soccer franchise in Sacramento. That obviously is not going to happen in that time frame, but I'm confident that it's still going to happen. Look at anything worth having is worth fighting for, and if it were easy, I suppose it would have happened a long, long time ago. We were this close. And, I'm proud of the city because we made a series of commitments and we've lived up to every one of them, which is why the league is continuing to see us as a Major League Soccer city and will continue to work with us. We stepped forward with a multi-million-dollar public infrastructure package for the rail yards. We've met every timeline. We've done exactly what the league and the investor asked of us. You control and we control what we control. We can't control what we don't, and we don't control the actions of a lead investor, and it's disappointing. And I understand Twitter's blowing up. Fans are angry, saying, what happened? Guess what? I share your disappointment, and I share your anger. I do, because we deserve better than this. But we have two choices, and that is to retreat and say, well, that's just the way that it is, or to pick ourselves up after a couple of days and next week begin looking for that new investor and recreate what we have already put in place. We don't start from scratch. We have a big head start. We're going to get right back to work.
At what point in time did you find out that this might be in trouble?
Well, I want to answer the question fully. This has been going on for a number of months. I've had a series of conversations with the lead investor and have held it together. But there are many reasons, and I'm not going to speak for him. He needs to answer for himself why he's not following through on a public commitment that we all made together in October of 2019. All I can say is that we've lived up to our end of it and are ready to live up to our end of it with a new investor. But he'll have to answer that question himself.
How much of a factor did the economy and COVID-19 play in this? I mean, obviously, if there was no pandemic, this may not be an issue, right?
I think that's, again, I'm not going to speak for Mr. Burkle, but I think that's an obvious reason. I mean, there are many reasons. Yeah, COVID has really caused a great deal of hardship for a lot of people. The city itself has had a really tough year. You look at what happened to our city budget, you look at what's happening to small businesses, you look at what's happening to people. And even with all that, we were prepared to move forward, because even in the toughest of times, it's really important that you maintain the vision and the hope for a future, and to create a Sacramento that has more assets, more sports, more art, more culture, more vitality is a good and a great thing. And so we're prepared to move forward. We were prepared to move forward yesterday, we're prepared to move forward today, and we're prepared to move forward as soon as we can find another lead investor.
And if we could just take a look at the bigger rail yard project.
Yeah.
Any of the other partners expressing concern? I know the hospital and others. You heard anything
Well,
from them?
no. I mean, I think everything is going forward. We have a $400 million courthouse. We have a significant set of housing projects that are beginning. And, of course, we have Kaiser Hospital. But there's no question that across the country, across the world, including our state and our city, we've had some economic challenges. But we're going to get through COVID, and Sacramento will regain its momentum. I'm confident of it. This is a disappointment. There's no question about it. But it only sets us back, in my opinion, in terms of the timing. There are no guarantees, but we've got to keep fighting, just like we did for the Kings.
And so your understanding from the MLS is that it's as easy as just finding another investor, and then
I'm not going to overstate it, because it's not that easy. First of all, finding another investor, there are a lot of them out there, but it takes, what I've learned over this process is it takes some time to find the right owner, at least who you think is the right owner, and then to go through all of the due diligence and the business related terms to acquire an asset worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I do know that the league is committed to working with us to try to keep the dream alive. And I'm committed, and our city is committed to trying to keep the dream alive. And I believe we can do it. Just like we did it, at least getting this far and doing everything right from a city and community perspective, we just need the right investor who's going to follow through with us.
Apologies for being late, but you can tell me asked and answered if
That's okay. No.
I'm with Channel 10 here.
Yes. Hello.
Because you've been down this road before with Ron Burkle, seeing what he did with Sacramento, with the Kings investmentship, is there, in a weird way, you guys were kind of prepared for this?
Oh, boy. No, I don't think we were prepared for this. Like I was saying earlier, this didn't happen overnight. It's been a number of months where we've had a series of conversations. And, I held it together and believed that there was going to be all of the follow-through once we worked through some of the issues. And, the last year has been difficult for everybody, including Mr. Burkle. But in the end, everybody makes their own decision. And I make my decision based to commit the city with the support of my city council colleagues, based on what I promised the public, which is that we were going to step forward. We were going to contribute, close to $50 million worth of infrastructure, public infrastructure, and other public resources, not out of our city's general fund. A very robust and generous public contribution. And we have lived up to every single agreement that we made, to everybody, including the league, which is why the league is standing with us. And I want to repeat, because it's important, my appreciation for Don Garber and Major League Soccer, because they have done right by us, and I look forward to our continued partnership in the days, the weeks, and the months ahead.
What would you say to soccer fans? I mean, they've been through quite a journey, much like Kings fans were.
Well, I know for myself, as mayor of the city, I've put my heart into this. And so I share your disappointment. I share your upset. I share your anger if you're angry. I do. I mean, man, we do this work and to to actually reach the end and the successful end. But we're not defeated. It's a setback. It's not a loss. And so the question now is, what do we do after a couple of days of feeling bad and disappointed and angry? We have two choices. We can either say, well, it's just not worth it and it's too hard. Or we can say, let's continue to fight for what is rightfully ours. I know my choice. And I'm confident it's the choice of not only the soccer fan base, but our community. We continue to fight, just like we did for the Kings. If we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have a Golden One Center. We wouldn't have an NBA franchise. We wouldn't have DOCA. We wouldn't have, all of the great possibilities that now exist in our downtown, even with some of the hard times with COVID and all that has occurred. And so you don't give up. You don't. We don't start from scratch. Still the same thing. We're one lead investor away from being able to have an opening night. It's just going to take a little bit longer.
And my final question, if possible, I realize it's probably way too soon to have a timetable of things, but what's the kind of pressure, timetable you put on yourself?
Well, the timetable I put on myself is that we're going to begin picking up the pieces next week. Today is Friday. Monday and Tuesday, we're going to get back to work.